BPO, we're a full service call center, and we actually expanded recently into a business outsourcing center. So we do things like we've handled traditional call services, like taking calls for answering service, full service, but we also do emails, we do social media, we do chats. We just basically do everything from file maintenance all the way down to answering calls for customers. The majority of our business is still, of course, answering service and full service call center. We do both inbound and outbound business to business, but we don't do telemarketing. We don't do any outbound to consumer except with existing consumer relations. I work in the IT department, mostly in development and business relations. Most of the scripting, which is obviously through Zingtree, as well as the reporting side of it, building reports for customers, onboarding new customers, that kind of thing. We've worked with various scripting services before, but our main problems were always integrating it with our software, our communication software, which is in Contact, as well as our reporting software. So we've had some issues with that. And a large part of it was the software we've used before was not cloud-based. So recently, in the past 6 or 7 years, we've moved to a very large remote population. As of right now, about 90% of our employees are remote. Before that, obviously that wasn't the case. So as we moved remote, we needed something that was cloud-based so that if our power went out or lost internet at our office, which has happened before, we still needed agents to be able to take calls, use the scripts, that kind of stuff. So that's why we moved to both a cloud-based contact system in Contact, as well as a cloud-based scripting software so that, again, all of our remote agents can continue to work even if we have issues. We've trained our agents from the very beginning because we are a blended call center. We work for well over 200 companies to use the script. Basically, you don't need to know everything about the company. You just need to know how to use the script to find everything about the company. So that was one of the things that that was also one of the big things that we were looking for when we were transitioning. One of the important things for us is that the scripts were able to flow in an easy manner to be able to use as well as be able to build and update, that kind of thing. There's nothing worse than knowing you have all the data and not being able to get to it. So we're having to pull it out manually and put it somewhere. That was like, we're not doing that. We've been able to do a lot of things with Zingtree that we couldn't do before, like having decisions based on time of day. We couldn't do that before in our scripts. We'd have one script for after hours, or we'd have to ask the agent, please choose what time it is and have all that stuff. I'd say about 90% of it was very intuitive and easy to learn. Once you get the hang of it, you're off to the races. So we had I think at that time we had close to 250 scripts. Now we're well over 400 that we're running. Reduced a lot of agent error in that regards because there's human error everywhere. You don't blame people, but it's going to happen. If you're having an agent press buttons, someone's going to press the wrong button. It's just going to happen. So being able to have all that done in the back end, as well as pulling data out of tables and saying, okay, if the agent chooses this, pull this data and display it. If the agent chooses this, pull this data and display it instead. So things like that have definitely limited a lot of agent error. And training has been much easier. And we have actually more people working on scripts now because it's much easier to actually do the scripting. So instead of having 1 or 2 people like we used to have, we now have 4 or 5 people who are able to do stuff, even down to we actually have a client of ours who does their own scripting. We actually got them licenses and they log in and they actually do some of those things. We showed how it worked and they said, can we do that? We said, yeah, sure. Why not? So we actually do have trained clients to do it now. It's more affected us on the back end who actually do the scripting because we have used scripts before, but we've had to do so much to get the scripts to do what we want them to do that building a script would take a week, whereas now I can do it in a day or 2. That's where most of our productivity gain has been. Now that we can do it much simpler through your system, it's really sped up the time that we can bring clients on. I mean, we actually have a process where clients can sign up for their own answering service just by filling out information on a table. They hit done and their answering service is live right then, literally instantaneous answering service. We couldn't do that without a software like yours. So we're able to onboard our customers much faster because there's a lot less building into scripts that it takes. Plus, it's nice that we can actually send our customers our script. They can review it, make sure they're happy with it. They can use the feedback to provide notes. They send it back to us. It sped that up a lot because before we would literally have to either go through it in a meeting or we'd have to just do screenshots of each page, or we'd have to PDF it and then put it in the right order. It was a pain. It's nice that we can literally just send them, here's the URL to your script, do what you need to do, send it back to us. Once they're done, we turn the security on because we do use a single sign-on, which is another great thing. It's helped our security a lot in that regards because we are HIPAA and PCI compliant. So we do have to have a lot of security involved. We can have it off while the clients are using it and then turn the security on when it comes back to us. So we don't have to worry about the security lapses or anything. But that is a large part of it. It's really helped in our onboarding of new clients. One of the nice things about it is the feedback feature, like I mentioned. It makes them feel like they have a lot more say in what's happening. It's nice for them to be able to interact with it and say, hey, can we do this? And we can say, sure, why not? Or we can reach out and find out. Ease of use is much easier. They love, and we love, that we've taken a lot of the decisions out of their hands. A lot of that they enjoy because, again, it shortens things for them as well. And that may be maybe the calls maybe a little bit faster because of things like that, choices they don't have to make, decisions they don't have to go through. But again, I think it's been a very positive response almost universally. The back end stuff that allows us to take those decisions out of the agent's hands. A lot of that is what's really exciting to me because, again, it allows us to do stuff without human error. That and the communication that we're able to do with, we do a lot of stuff where we actually plug stuff directly into customer CRMs now. We've got several of those set up where we actually use the APIs to plug stuff into the customer CRMs without actually having to open the CRM. So that saves us a lot of time and effort as well. We actually use webhooks to connect to a program called Caspio, which is a reporting database program. We're able to store and pull data out of there easily. What we can do is in combination with our phone system, which can push data at the end of a URL. It pushes things like unique ID numbers or phone numbers or stuff like that. And we use that to actually connect to Casio to pull the customer's data in. So even before the script gets to an agent, it's already loaded everything they need to know about that particular customer. And they're able to do their job from there. It's much easier than having to look up customers and that kind of stuff. So we're integrated through that using webhooks. We have an API into Salesforce. We've used Zapier to connect to some of the lesser known customer CRMs. There's some just random customer CRMs that we're able to not necessarily connect to, but we've set it up so that we can send emails directly into their CRM to save data. I have recommended it to several customers. I mean, it's easy to use. It's great that it can do integrations, and there's even more integrations coming. Building scripts is fast. It's simple. It's very intuitive. It doesn't take a lot of training to get to the basic level, but there's a lot more behind it. So you can use it at the basic level if you want, or you can go deeper into it and learn how to do more interesting things. I use it to do formulas and math all over the place. We've been really enjoying it. We're super excited about the updates. I love how responsive the service is. If I have a question, it's usually answered within one business day at the latest, usually faster. I haven't had any real issues.